The third Turkey-African Partnership Summit is ongoing in Istanbul under the auspices of Presidency of the Turkish Republic. The two-day summit comes fast on the heels of a top-level business forum in October that focused on investment and trade. The gathering will ensure that the strategic ties between Turkey and African countries are carried forward to a new stage. The theme of this summit is joint development and enhanced cooperation for prosperity. We want to walk on the road to development and prosperity alongside our African friends and carry our cooperation into the future. Our aim is to win with Africa and walk to the future together. The Turkey-African Partnership was formalized in 2008, during which two outcome documents were adopted, namely the Istanbul Declaration and the Framework for Cooperation. Leaders and top ministers from 39 countries, including 13 presidents, witnessed the summit, which will climax on Saturday, December 18. Hundreds of Senegalese on Friday took to the streets of the country's capital, Dakar, in a protest accusing the government of subjecting opposition figures to lengthy detentions. Many of the protesters directed their anger at President Macky Sall, who has been accused of interfering in judicial cases to suit his political interest. I came first to mark my solidarity with the citizens' demands concerning a two-tier justice system in the country, a justice system that refuses to be calm and serious when it comes to dealing with cases concerning activists and opponents. Since Sall's re-election in 2019, he has faced criticisms, with many suspecting that he may seek to run for president again. The protesters called for the release of a leading member of the activist group who was arrested on visa trafficking charges. We are young Senegalese people who have been working and owning structures for about 10 years, and unfortunately, we are facing the injustice of this government, which one day destroyed our publicity board, which constitutes our working tools. Earlier this year, there were protests across Senegal after an opposition politician, Ousmane Sonko, was accused of rape. Sonko's supporters maintain the charges were brought to disrupt his future political ambitions after he placed third in the last elections. This palm grove is located in Ouadane, a small town in the desert region of central Mauritania. The wealth of the once rich city is gradually fading out. A city in search of its lost prestige to which the Mauritanian government wants to restore. The 2021 Heritage Cities Festival is designed to be the starting point. The choice of Ouadane is a choice that is also right, because Ouadane was and is still a city of tolerance, a city of cohabitation, and also a city of emancipation. So the Ouadane speech is a historical speech. To get Ouadane out of its current misery, the Mauritanian state has released 3 billion ouguiya, which is approximately $82 million. This money is intended to finance several development projects in the northern city. The development approach that was promoted this year has borne fruit through the elaboration of a development plan for dams, irrigation, the palm grove, cultural infrastructure, and many other areas of life, the aim of which is to fix the population in their land and to attach them more closely to their culture.
Touchant des infrastructures culturelles, touchant de nombreux domaines de la vie qui ont pour objectif de fixer les populations dans leur terroir et les attacher davantage à leur culture.
It is not for nothing that this year's festival was less joyful and more focused on exchanges on development strategies. This is more than urgent for this historic region, which is losing its wealth. To protect a place like this, there must be economic and social development. That is, there must be schools, there must be healthcare, there must be water, because without water, people leave these places.
Les rideaux sont donc tombés sur...
The curtains have fallen on the 10th edition of the 2021 Heritage Cities Festival here in Ouadane. This year, the focus was on the development of the historic cities of Ouadane, Tichi, Chinguitti and Walata, the frame of modern Mauritania. Once flourishing, these regions have been completely united for several decades. This is why the Mauritanian state has undertaken major economic projects to open up these regions.
Envoyé spécial à Ouadane, dans le nord de la Mauritanie, pour Africa News.
Christmas comes as a season for most businesses to cash in, but the same cannot be said about this year. At this salon here in Johannesburg, appointments have significantly dropped due to the increasing cases of the new variant of coronavirus, Omicron, which was discovered about 2 weeks ago in South Africa.
Let's talk about the Delta variant, and I think the last weeks of that variant before the Omicron was announced. I think people, because of also the vaccines, a lot of people were now a bit relaxed. They were coming back into the industry, coming back to do their hair. They were comfortable. We had people that we haven't seen in a while. But then when the Omicron variant was announced, immediately you can see bookings drop.
This is a reflection of the situation not only in South Africa, but in most parts of the world. Businesses may now have to define other strategies to be able to meet their target.
Small businesses are important for our economy. We are resilient. We really, really try to keep going through the hardships. And it's always a bit saddening when you see fellow small businesses having to close because of the volatility of the season, But yeah, I think I'm hopeful. I do think that 2022 is going to be just as tough. And so as an entrepreneur, you're always trying to think how to mitigate, how to be creative, how to bring in those customers.
With the hope of a coronavirus-free 2022, Nelly will in the meantime have to manage the few clients she gets on a daily basis to keep her business running. A month after the clashes against the French convoy of Operation Barkhane in the Sahel, Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum has called on France to open an investigation into the clashes that took place in November on the routes of the military convoy of the Barkhane force. Bazoum made this call in a televised address as the country marked 63 years of independence from France. A report drawn up by Niamey revealed that 3 people had been killed and 17 others wounded in shootings attributed to the Nigerian forces. The supply convoy, which arrived in Ivory Coast earlier in the month, had crossed into Burkina Faso before entering Niger on its way to its destination in Mali. But clashes broke out at Terra in northern Niger. French Army spokesman Pascal Yanni said at the time that no French soldier had been wounded. However, 2 civilian drivers in the convoy were wounded through stones pelted at them. Bazoum had previously expressed his gratitude to France and applauded its sacrifices in the Sahel.